Oh my god. Oh my god. Okay.
Shh. Can back up anymore? Jeez.
Yeah, back up. Well, I want to get the light so it's...
Yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode. Today in this video, I'm going to show you how to install an aftermarket steering wheel and hub on your car. Now behind me, or behind us, we've got the Volkswagen Golf, and we've got another DIY for you guys today. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to take out the old OEM wheel and replace it with this Momo steering wheel. So before we get started and do anything, we're going to go in the engine bay and disconnect the negative terminal on the battery, so that when we go back in the car and we disconnect the airbag, if there's any power or anything that's still supplied to the airbag won't blow up in our face. So make sure you take that out before you do anything and let the car sit for a good 10-15 minutes. Alrighty, so my little brother jumped the gun a little bit and he already started disassembling some stuff. So we're just going to get you guys up to speed. So first thing, what'd you do, Luca?
So to take off this plate, this is normally sitting up here, securing the top of the steering wheel column up to the speedometer. So there's two screws at the bottom of the steering wheel column down here, one here and then the same spot on the other side. It's a Phillips head going all the way up, and just unscrew that and you'll be able to pop this out. This piece right here is attached against the speedometer with 3 clips, one on each corner and then one in the middle. Just be kind of delicate, they do break very easily. So once this thing is out, you can go ahead and take off the speedometer with 2 T20 Torx screws under here. One down there and the other one down there.
Now not every car is going to need that. We're just taking it out because we need to get to the back side of the airbag or the steering wheel so we can take the airbag out. Now most cars you're not going to have to remove the speedo, so you know, if you have to, just know that this is how you do it. Otherwise, you can continue and remove the airbag. Now, for the airbag, what'd you do?
So, get this out of the way first. Alright, so for the airbag, you need to turn the steering wheel 90 degrees, and at the top here,
where's the key?
In the ignition.
There we go, next step.
You need to get a small screwdriver or a small pry bar and stick it in the hole at the back of the steering wheel, right here. Now, it's not a screw, it's a piece of metal that you have to bend upwards.
You push it out of the way. Look, move the airbag and we can give them a good idea. So we already did this to both of them. There's gonna be one on the left and on the right side of the car.
All right, so you see in there, that piece of metal, the screwdriver is going to have to...
The screwdriver is gonna go in it and you push it up, because the way that it's securing the airbag in place is, see that little trident kind of thing, the little arrowhead? That. So the spring that's inside the steering wheel is putting pressure on the back side in there. So that's how you take that out. So once you have that out, you can
once
the steering wheel straight.
Disconnected, make sure it's straight as you can get it. And then before you disconnect the airbag, you have to remove the key, or else you're gonna get an airbag light the next time you turn it on. So take out the key, and then from here, there's a connector at the top that you can simply remove.
You hope.
Maybe.
So once you guys remove the airbag from the car, make sure that you take care of this and don't do anything stupid with it. This is essentially a bomb. So take care of it, you know, but don't put any power or anything up to it because it could go off. So make sure that when you're taking it out, you put it on a nice place that isn't going to be doing anything bad. So with the airbag here, I'm just going to grab this and put it on here, face up, not down. And then when we need it, we can use it again. But make sure that it's face up, you know, just in case, say the airbag deploys, it'll blow up as opposed to, say, blowing down and the airbag's gonna shoot up in the air. Now with the airbag out, we need to remove the center bolt right there, and it's holding it in place. So once we take that out, we can take the steering wheel out of the car. Now it's very easy. In order to take it out, we're gonna need to be using these special kind of tools right here. And I'll have links to these inside the description box. If you guys wanna pick up a set, you guys can use them and take it out. Now, if the steering wheel is gonna be a pain in the butt and we can't just use this to take it out, say it's really stuck on there, you're gonna need a steering wheel puller. And that's exactly what this is. I had to use this when I installed the aftermarket carbon fiber steering wheel in my Accord. So, if you guys wanna pick one of these things up too, you guys can check the description box and you guys can pick one up. So with the M12 triple spline socket, you're gonna use it to take out the center bolt. Now it's gonna be a little bit tight, but you should be able to get it out. So loosen it up by hand, and then as soon as you have it like that, stop, and then just give the steering wheel a little wiggle. Because if we can pull it off, okay, see, we were able to pull it off like that. We didn't need to use the puller. However, if you needed the puller, you'd want to keep that bolt in there while you do that. So you can then continue to pull out the bolt that's found in the center of the steering wheel. Take that out, and then we can take the steering wheel out as well.
Throw it away.
So with our OEM steering wheel out of the way, we can set that aside. Now you're gonna have to save the center bolt on the inside when we install the aftermarket one. So that's stock with an airbag, and if we move to an aftermarket one, this one right here, it looks a little bit better. It's a little bit smaller in diameter. However, it does not have an airbag like the OEM one. So now we have to install the steering wheel on the car. Now before we can do that, we need to be able to mount this up to the OEM part of the car. So this isn't exactly going to be a direct bolt-on, so that's why we need a special hub adapter for that to work. So it's going to allow us to use this 6-bolt pattern with the 1-bolt pattern. So these hubs that we're going to be using are going to be vehicle specific, so make sure that you pick one up specifically for your car. Now if you guys want to install an aftermarket steering wheel on your car and you want the airbag light to not go on, you're going to have to do 2 things. So first off is you're going to have to install a 2-amp fuse where the airbag, where the yellow connector is right there. We have one that's included in our Momo steering wheel hub kit. So you grab it like that. It's a 2-amp fuse with 2 leads on it. It doesn't matter which way you put in where, the fuse is going to work the same way. So all that it's going to do, it's essentially a little resistor. The little 2-amp inline fuse that we're installing right there is essentially there to replicate what the airbag's resistance should draw. So once we have that installed and we put everything back together, we won't get, or shouldn't get, an airbag light if that's installed correctly. Now, on top of that, with the airbag light system out of the way, we need to get the horn to work properly. So the OEM wheel only had the horn function and the airbag. So with the airbag done, we have to install these 2 little connectors right here that connect to the OEM connectors right there. And we're essentially just extending the wires. Now this came included in our kit. We're extending the wires, and on the back side of the horn, right there, you can see that we've got the brass connector right there for our positive, and the other one right there for our ground. So once we have these installed, just to make sure that they don't move or don't, interact with each other, we're just gonna be putting electrical tape on all the connectors. So for the airbag and for the horn, so that they're not gonna come in contact with each other. So say we're not gonna have a bad ground or whatever it be. Now the reason why we're gonna be wrapping both of these in electrical tape is so that what happens if, say, we put this in the car and they touch. Well, if the metal comes in contact with the metal, it's going to complete the circuit, and say even if we're down the street, we're driving or whatever, and we're not pressing the horn, if these 2 touch, the horn will go off. So make sure that you wrap these up separately so that you're not going to have that happen. So with the wiring and everything on the steering column good to go, we need to install our hub on the car. Now we did not opt for a quick release hub only because, well, we don't need it. Now the hub that we're installing right here is a Momo hub, and all of these wiring connectors, so for the airbag and the horn, they're all going to be fed on the top part through there, so not in the center. The center part right there is where the steering shaft is going to connect right through towards the steering wheel. So from there to here. Okay, so all the connectors have to go and be fed through the top. So both of them. Feed them up in there, and then you're going to mount the hub onto the steering column. So once you have the wires fed through the top part of the hub, we're going to need to mount up the steering wheel bolt right there that's going to connect the hub onto the shaft. So it's the OEM bolt that we took out before using that triple spline square socket. So we're going to put that back in, tighten it up, and the hub is going to be mounted in. So with your extension and your socket, you're going to feed that into the hub, and you're going to tighten that bolt down in the center. Now you're just going to tighten it up until it's snug. There's not really a really high torque spec with these things. Usually it's around 30 foot-pounds of torque. Luca, you gotta, yeah, there we go. And make sure you set it to tightening, not loosening.
Lefty tighty, righty loosey.
You're so smart. So once you have it in there, it shouldn't really move. Yeah, whatever, yeah.
It's broken.
You should have enough torque that when you do whatever he just did to the steering wheel hub, it's not going to move. So now we need to push the... Look, stop. Stop jerking off the steering wheel. What the hell?
No.
Okay, so you got to push the fuse inside the steering wheel. Yep, in the hub. So that's for the airbag, and then we're going to push most of the connector in for the horn. We're going to push most of it in. We just need to connect up both of those onto the steering wheel before we mount the steering wheel on. So this might be a little bit tricky, but we'll be able to get this to work. Now, if you install these correctly, the horn should work. If it doesn't work, take this apart and then switch the connectors from positive to negative, and that way it shouldn't go anywhere. So once you have it like that, you should be able to push those in, and then there's going to be 6 bolts holding the steering wheel onto the hub. Now, when you're installing the steering wheel, make sure that you install it correctly, and if you can see right there on the top of the hub, it says top, so make sure that you install it, facing the proper direction. And once you have it there, we're going to align each one of the holes on the steering wheel with the 6 screws, tighten that up, and then the steering wheel should be good to go. So once you have all 6 of these screws essentially hand tight, you're going to want to torque this up just like you tighten up a wheel. So you want to start with 1 bolt or 1 screw, tighten that down, and then go and work to the furthest opposite bolt. Now this way it's going to be properly centered, you're not going to be wiggling the steering wheel on, and it's going to be properly aligned on the hub. Now there's not going to be a huge torque spec with these things. I'll bet if it's at 10 foot-pounds, that's plenty. So, just like tap it.
It's like a Staples easy button.
That was easy.
If you have a horn assembly where it doesn't have the like a female and male end,
yeah,
kind of like what we had, that's what you'd use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just a different way of connecting.
But everything came with the hub, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, the hub came with everything you needed, including the screws for the steering wheel.
So I'll see if I can
find
find
a spare.
Really?
Yeah, it came with 1 spare one. So, in case you strip one or something.
Oh, you know what it'd be? It's like, when you work on your engine bay, you do anything and you drop a bolt into the engine bay,
yeah,
and you can't find it. Well, they have you covered.
So these steering wheel hubs from Momo, the design of the internals of it allow it so in case you're in an accident with aftermarket steering wheels, you don't have an airbag. So as a safety precaution, they made it so the steering wheel will actually collapse with you.
The internals of the hub.
Yeah,
right?
So if you were to hit the steering wheel in a head-on collision, let's say, well, the hub would actually collapse with you and kind of bend with it to help absorb some of the force.
So there's like the hard part in the back, and there's like the little accordion piece up front. Luca, move it just for the camera.
Move what?
Like the accordion thing. So see how that's soft? That'll collapse on itself, and it'll, I guess, give you some give.
So
here's another one.
This is one for a Mark III. A Golf, and this is the accordion thing, and then underneath you have this. Okay, it's not exactly that thick of metal, it's maybe 1/8" steel, but when you hit it, because of these curves, it allows it to actually bend towards
like
the side.
mushroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Good job, Momo. Now you won't get that with a quick release hub. Keep that in mind. If you get a quick release hub, it's going to be 2 different components, where one of them's going to they're
going to be solid aluminum. So if you're hitting it, this thing is not moving.
Yeah. Yo, shh, 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 shh. So the shh. Yo, so the horn doesn't work.
No.
So battery in, steering wheel's all good to go. We come in here, we have the airbag. Oh no, not airbag. We have the steering wheel installed without an airbag. Yeah, here she is. So nice. Let's see what happens if. No, I can't hold it like that. Yeah, looks good. And the horn works, as you guys can tell. So, here's the wheel. Good to go. Horn works. Yeah, looks nice. It's got a lot better feel than the OEM wheel.
Oh yeah.
Now, if you guys do have steering wheel controls on your OEM wheel, if you were to say swap it over to a wheel like this, you are going to be losing those functions. So just keep that in mind if you guys are going to be buying an aftermarket wheel that's like this. Now, I don't know of any aftermarket wheel that comes with an airbag. So something like this, you'd have to check with your local laws to see if this is legal. But like say for a track car or something like that, this is definitely a good way to shed some weight, remove the airbag, and just give the car a better feel. Now lastly, if you take a look at the steering wheel, you notice that there's 6 bolts holding the wheel in place, and that's for this hub and for this Momo wheel. Now there's a lot of aftermarket wheels that are 6 bolt that this Momo hub will work for. So if you guys are looking at a hub, a Momo one might work depending on your aftermarket steering wheel. So you could probably use a Sparco with this, you can use an NRG, you can use many different kinds of steering wheels with a hub matched like this. And the same thing goes for the hub. If you want a quick release hub, say from NRG, and you have a Momo wheel, you can most likely get it to work. Take a look at the bolt pattern, make sure that it's all the same, and then you shouldn't have any issues.
If you guys have any questions regarding the video, throw it down in the comment section below, and I'd be happy to help. If you guys want to pick up anything that I used today, you guys can check the description because I'll have Amazon links to most of the stuff that I used today down there. If you aren't following me on Instagram, you guys should check out the link. It's at Millmast. And I put out stuff on there all the time. If you guys are interested in seeing what I do, and if you want to get a heads up as to what's coming up, check out my Instagram and even my Facebook because I post stuff on there before I have the video uploaded. If you guys have any questions, throw it down there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Just kidding, I got traction.
This kid. Yo, it's like a dog. Its ears. God, you're ugly.
No, I'm just pretty.
Funny,
in
the
my
camera
own way.
can't even focus on your.
I'm just pretty in my own way.
Pretty ugly.